Our countdown to kickoff continues in the Great American Conference. Today, our stop is in Searcy as we get to visit with Paul Simmons, who's the head coach at Harding. Coach, no fall ball, no spring ball last season. Then camp maybe that much more important as you get an opportunity then to find out a little bit more about a team that was good anyway coming in. What did you learn during camp this fall?
Well, there's no doubt about it. Not having a year of football has been a very unique experience. There certainly has been some challenges that came with that, but there's been a lot of blessings as well. We had a chance to do things as a team that we normally wouldn't get to do. It feels like we already had a veteran football team. Most of our seniors came back, and so these guys have been together for a long time. Coming into fall camp, it just felt like we were so much further along with our guys and what they felt comfortable doing and more ready to play probably week one than we normally are. I can just say this about our football team. I think we probably have had groups before that maybe were more talented, but I've never had a better bunch of young men that I have right now. So many times over the last 9 months, I have said this, guys, that's the best job we have ever done with academics. That's the best job we have ever done with this issue of accountability. That's the best job we've ever done taking care of business in fall camp. I've used that phrase, this is the best job we have ever done, so many times when it comes to the things we can control, attitude, effort, teamwork, commitment, and that generally translates to the football field pretty well. So I'm excited about these guys.
That's so cool to hear, Coach. That's nice to think about your team. Coach, you returned 5 of your top 6 running backs from 2019, and for a program with an offense that is predicated on running the ball like you all do, I know that has to be a luxury. You were talking about it already. Players like Cole Chancey, players like Preston Payton, the quarterback, Taylor Bissell as well. Can you talk about your offense?
Well, just on the board, we feel like it is a really, really veteran bunch. Guys that have been in so many big football games together. They know what it takes. They know how to win. They're very experienced. Certainly that's been, one of the blessings of COVID for us. The last time we played, Preston tore his ACL in the first drive of that playoff football game, which was an absolute battle. And he was cleared to play last fall, but he certainly wasn't 100%. And so, you always, when a guy's a special senior, a special leader, you want that guy to have the ability to go out and be their very best as a senior. And so we were excited to have him have an extra year. Cole Chancey, I've said this a few times and I say it in front of my guys. I don't think I've ever coached a tougher young man than Cole Chancey. I mean, he is an absolute warrior. If that guy carries the ball 25 times, on a Saturday night, the next day, he acts like he didn't even get touched. And he doesn't have a single run that ends with him going out of bounds or, he doesn't ever end a run that's not violent. I mean, every single carry is like a car accident, and he's just a special kid. But he also is an awesome teammate. Coach Wheaton, our offensive coordinator, says that he's never had a B-back ever do all of the little things better, carrying fakes out, blocking, all of the selfless things, and that really is what marks the guy. His production is through the roof, but as far as being a tough guy that really cares about being a great teammate and the detailed parts of what he does, he is very, very special. But boy, we just have a lot of veterans on that team. You mentioned Taylor Bissell has done it at a high level for a long time. Looking forward to seeing him play. Mason Hutto, senior O-lineman, who is a special warrior. Sam Wilson is one of the best we've ever had here playing on the O-line. And, all those guys, they've already graduated and certainly they could have moved on. but they made the decision to come back and do it one more time. I try to explain to them that there are some awesome things down the road for them. But there is nothing like your senior year. When you leave those football pads for the last time, there's nothing ever that really replaces that. And I think they recognize they've got a lot of years to be an adult and live that lifestyle, but it was just a short window to be in a locker room, part of a family. And so I'm excited to have them back, and it's going to be a special year for us.
I really appreciate that, Coach. That's fun to hear. We're visiting with Coach Paul Simmons from Harding. Team picked second in the GAC preseason coaches poll, ranked number 22 in the country, coming into the fall of 2021. And 4 consecutive playoff appearances. You mentioned the one a couple of years ago, 2019. Boy, a couple of first-round losses, absolutely brutal 1- and 2-point first-round losses after some deep playoff runs. And that leads me to talk about your defense, too, because the 7-6 loss in 2019, I know that was tough for you all. What a performance your defense had to really keep you all in that game. And I think that's a big part of what Harding does too, leading the country in 2019 in total defense, scoring, and in so many other categories. I don't think you can say enough about your defense. Defensive lineman Jay Marshall coming back, 4.5 sacks. Linebacker Dylan Hendricks coming back, 3.5 sacks, as well as good help back in the secondary too. Corey Beatty, a forced fumble, 3 picks. And those are just some players among many.
Well, I could talk a long time about our defense, and you're right. What those guys did at Missouri. Those guys are a powerhouse. I think they've lost, one game at home in the last 100 years. I mean, something really crazy.
Yeah.
And in that ball game, we came out and allowed an opening drive touchdown, and that was it. Those guys converted 1 third down on the entire day. In the second half, they had 25 yards, and just an amazing performance. I really do believe that our defensive coaching staff is the best in the country. Coach Moat, Coach Tribble, Coach Bigelow, we've added Sam Blankenship. Those guys are special coaches and do an awesome job. But we actually, Mr. McWilliams, I want to make sure we've allowed the fewest points in the nation the last 2 years.
Oh, well.
That's out of 165 schools, and that really speaks highly, especially because of the offenses that we face. But couldn't be more proud of those coaches, those young men. Really, it's about culture. It's an attitude. It's a mindset. It's a level of commitment. Certainly, a lot of special guys on that side of the ball. We love our linebackers. We have 2 seniors that both came back. Dylan Hendricks is a special leader for us and a dynamite football player. Shedrick Robinson is a special talent at outside linebacker. Both those guys are dynamite. You didn't mention it, but we have Isako Issa Baaji, who's another guy that came back, interior D lineman stud for us. Corey Beatty, the Ravens were here yesterday at practice to watch Corey practice. Corey's story is, pretty special. He came from South Alabama and been through a lot. Actually lost his mother during this break, which was a devastating deal for him. Had a terrible back situation. He had back surgery back early in the semester, and we didn't know if we could get him back or not. So to see him out there bouncing around and back healthy is an awesome deal. He is a special young man. He's an amazing teammate. When that guy was here from the Ravens, he wanted to ask me about him, and I just said, look, it's your job to evaluate talent, but I will tell you, you will not have a more special person in your locker room from a standpoint of being a professional, getting there early, leaving late, never having a bad day, being the ultimate encourager, being fearless. The guy, I've never seen him have a bad day in 5 years, just the way he treats people, the kindness. He's the biggest stud on our football team, but you would never know it. He has a tremendous, humble attitude and just loves his teammates and truly loves being a Bison. And, all those guys, man, they love playing together. They love being together. They love getting after it. They love chasing the football, and they just play so hard. It's so hard. And it really is awesome. It's humbling to get to to be with those guys and watch them play. And the bar has been set really high around here on defense for a long time, and I can't wait to see this group add their name to that legacy of great defenses around here.
Well, Coach, I appreciate the clarification about the scoring in all of that.
That's hard to do.
I know, and I could listen to the stories that you tell all day long. This is just fantastic. I appreciate learning even more about the Harding Bison football team. Coach, you get things underway literally days away now as the season opens a Saturday, as you host on Saturday, September 4th, hosting East Central, and then the next Saturday on the road against Southeastern. Can you talk about your schedule?
Yeah, I tell you what, I don't know if you know or not, but we actually scrimmaged East Central this spring. They came to our place and they gave us all they wanted, and then later they actually went and on the road and they beat Tarleton. And Tarleton's a Division I school now, extremely talented. The last year Tarleton was in Division II, they went 11-1, and so we know that we are going to have an absolute war in our first ball game, and it's a big deal for us. But it's just so neat to play in this league where you play 11 straight league games. I mean, every game is really, really important. I love it. I love not having to try to find non-conference games. I love that that every Saturday morning you're going to wake up and play a game where basically your season's on the line. I love what that does for our mentality, for the focus, and I really like our league. I just, I promise you that every week we know that if we don't show up, we're going to get our rear end beat, and that's a good thing. But since I've been the head coach here, my first 2 years we opened with Henderson and then played at SAU, and then the next cycle we opened with OBU. And those are teams that have traditionally been, up in the top. And so we've had our hands full in openers, and we feel like this is the same way. Al Johnson at East Central, I really like that guy. He's pretty fearless, and his kids play that way. They've got a really talented football team. Their quarterback is a talented, slippery guy, and they have the best running back in the league, besides Cole Chansey. So we know that we've got a battle on our hands for sure.
You definitely have to promote the hometown boy first, or at least in that statement. I know that's.
I'm not ever going to say the running back in the league better than Cole Chansey. He's my guy.
All right. Well, we'll stay with that then, Coach. Coach Paul Simmons from Harding. Coach, thank you so much for taking time with us today. The Harding Bisons picked second in the preseason coaches poll, and looking to make a run this season, continue the season longer, coming off 4 consecutive playoff appearances. And I see no reason why there wouldn't be a 5th in the future. Coach, thank you so much for taking time with us today as we count down to kickoff in the GAC.
Joey, I appreciate it, brother. Thanks for having me.